The winds right now, let's take a look at those. 38 in St. Pete is a sustained wind, steady wind. 58-mile-per-hour winds. I want to take you down to Sarasota. It's still blowing in the 30s. 49-mile-per-hour wind. Guys, when the sun comes up tomorrow, this water's coming out slowly overnight. There's a lot of stuff tore up on these beaches. I'm seeing pics and video from the north end of Anna Maria Island with about that much water, about 3 to 4 feet of water over parts of the island, and reports that it went from one side of the island to the other, complete washover, right? And I think a lot of people were not expecting this. So there's going to be a lot. That water is going to slowly start coming down. If you can reach somebody, if they've called you, if they're trying to find information, let them know it will start to come down. But these winds are still blowing to the point where it's holding the water, and the tide is still coming up. Okay, but over the next hour to 2 hours, it's just about 11 o'clock, just about 1 a.m., we will start to see these waters come down. I think we've already seen a little bit of crest at Clearwater. It's gusting to 54 miles per hour in Clearwater, 52 in Tampa, 55-mile-per-hour wind gust in Brooksville, 44 in Lakeland, Wauchula, Sebring. Look, 4-mile-per-hour wind in Sebring. Wondering what all the fuss is, right? And Newport Richey and Port Richey not really coming in with too much data, but generally they're in the 30s with gusts in the 50s. Here's the forecast for the wind gusts through midnight. See them coming down, but not that quickly, right? Gusts well into the 50s. These are basically severe thunderstorm warning gusts, although you have to get that to 58, but that's in the ballpark. And then after that, 2 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and here we go. It just jumped ahead because we just got to 11 o'clock. So you can see it will be jumping down as we go slowly through the overnight hours. But look, that's breezy all the way through sunrise early tomorrow morning. All right. Again, the water will start coming down here, I think, over the next hour or two. We've got to get past high tide, but what's pushed this up is diminishing. And so that is starting to come back down. 5 to 8 was the number. I think we're going to end up with 4, 3 to 5, maybe 4 to 5. Some spots will have seen 6. So pretty good number there, and we'll have to see some of the other spots. I mean, there are a couple spots at Port Manatee. That number looked really high to me. So they may have gotten a really good surge out of it. And these records have all been broken today. Every one of these. Let me get out of the way so you can see it. Clearwater, East Bay, Port Manatee, Old Port Tampa, St. Pete. And those numbers are as of 9 o'clock tonight. Yes. So you could possibly add a foot to a foot and a half to every one of those numbers. And these numbers already broke the record. From a storm that's 110 miles offshore and not even going to make landfall here. That's Tampa Bay. That is the problem that we have with us for here. So, yeah, they were rising as of 9 o'clock when we made that graphic. Amazing. There's the bigger picture. There's our tornado watch. Again, that will be cut off slowly from south to north as we go through the overnight hours. There will likely be they have high wind warnings that have been issued for this area up here, but you can see we are just moments away now from official landfall. This thing really sped up. It's going to be around 11 o'clock. I'd say Keaton Beach is probably what they're going to put it at. Rainfall totals for us, about 2 to 3 inches along the immediate coast. We still have some more rain, especially northern Pinellas, northwest Hillsborough, really, Little Road, US 19, Trinity, up into Port Richey, Newport Richey, up into Hudson as well. Those areas are going to get another possible inch or so of rainfall. It's not going to be terrible. It's not going to be, we've seen worse sometimes in the summertime, but obviously it's going to cause a little bit of minor flooding. And the numbers have been adding up, but this purple area you see out here, generally when I queried those earlier, they were in the 4 to 5 inch range and climbing. And so some of these spots out here end up seeing about 3 to 6 inches, and some of us are actually going to be a little less than that. So definitely not the headline for this storm, that's for sure. There you go, 3.5 out there. This is just in the last several hours. So yeah, those numbers did pile up just a little bit out west of us. There's our forecast model, taking it out of here by midnight. See these little stragglers left over? That's it, but there'll be quite a bit of dryness in there, at least as far as rainfall is concerned. But this fetch, this wind, right, that doesn't change much. Remember, it was blowing out of the south. And this wind, this is what we had for the better part of 12 hours before the storm really got here. And now it's all southwest. And then watch as we go through 3 o'clock in the morning, southwest, as we go through 8 o'clock in the morning, southwest, west-southwest. It's just less wind. It comes down as we go through the day there. So things will be getting finally starting to quiet down just a little bit. Forecast rainfall from the GSF model. This is going to take it off to the north, and I think there's a little bit of rain that's added through tomorrow. Not much tomorrow, but really Saturday. That's what some of that is adding up to. We're going to get caught with some light rain on the backside of this really late Friday night and Saturday. I think Saturday afternoon we'll get some showers. But further up to the north, we've got some heavy rainfall, and that's where we're going to get all kinds of flooding. What was that? Oh, here we go.
This is 19, what we were looking at just a little bit ago.
Yep.
Right there, alternate 19 at Curlew, and you can see
they've gone in and got somebody.
First responders, yep, going in. It looks like a family now coming out to
it's like
safety.
They got that couple there. They're getting off the boat.
Yeah,
there
well, thank goodness these first
Yeah.
responders are out there and able to help. As they mentioned, it puts their lives on the line too.
Right.
So that's why they don't want you to do this. But a lot of people just don't expect the water to reach them. In an area like this, it's like, well, I wouldn't think it would reach me. It never has in the past. So why is it doing it now?
That crosswalk is the Pinellas Trail.
Okay.
So this camera is across the street by the McDonald's, and there's that pirate. It's like a stop and go shop.
Gotcha.
in Palm Harbor, yeah.
Yep, and so that pole is probably sitting actually in more water than what they're standing in. But just to the right of the screen is looking northbound on Alt 19, and that's a very low-lying area. There we go. Now we're looking up towards Publix right there. That's the staging area. You can see all that. That's the Publix parking lot. If you look to the right up, that was the water tower that has the it looks like a sea turtle coming out of its shell. That on the right-hand side, you see another boat down there. See that? They're zooming in there.
Yeah.
Wow.
They've got another. Looks like they've got somebody else in the bow of that boat.
Yeah, and you can understand how people get trapped in water like
Right.
this. I don't know how deep it is. I mean, it looks like a couple feet there, but it's moving water, and
Right.
that's the scary part of it. It's difficult to stand sometime in moving water, and who knows where that moving water is taking you.
They're driving a boat with the motor in the water
Right.
on Alt 19, going in that direction. I think it's Pirates Cove is the marina down there. That's a wild place because of the low tides there, but they also get very high tides. And obviously you can see what they've got now. It gets dark, it gets deeper over there. There's a driving range on the left-hand side there, and that's looking towards Dunedin.
Right, so the causeway.
No. This is looking. Let me get bearings. That's looking south.
Okay.
That's looking south on Alt 19 right there, heading southbound. To the right would be the causeway going out to Honeymoon.
Got it.
If you just went right to the right there.
Wow.
This is the live rescues that we're seeing right here in Palm Harbor this evening. Again, 11 o'clock right now. This is one of several that we know about in communities in different counties, and you imagine just how many more are going to happen throughout the evening and of course early morning hours. And it's dark. You're dealing with that surge on top of that, not being able to see. We've talked about the power outages.
Dark, dangerous. We've seen the Coast Guard rescue. We've heard from Eric Glasser in downtown Tampa. A lot of rescue units coming into TGH. We don't know what that's about, but certainly, people have emergencies and people have health issues during these storms. Chris Hurst talking about similar issues down there in terms of people need to be rescued. So it's. Unfortunately, these first responders, there are medical calls that are even unrelated to the storm itself. So they're trying to get people to medical care as quickly as possible. But boy, we certainly appreciate the job they're doing.
I will point out, Dave, that's an evacuation zone. That's level A.
Is a level A. Okay.
And that's the reason why they were asked to evacuate. If you stay and you have some kind of medical issue, you've got to call 911. Those guys in those boats have families. Right. And now they got to go get those people because they stayed.
Sure.
That's the idea, and some people don't understand that, and that's why we try and educate people that all year round to get ready for this time of the year. But again, who knows? Those people have been there forever because we haven't seen this.
Right, and people rationalize this, and I understand why they do. Some people want to stay in their homes because they're afraid maybe somebody will break in or somebody will take something. They want to keep an eye if the water is coming into the house. Maybe I can do something to protect or fortify my house while this is going on. The reality is, when you have this much water, there's virtually nothing you can do. Tampa General Hospital has that barrier there, but the vapor barrier, which may help it from getting to the hospital. But as you saw, parking garage completely inundated with water. So water will go where it wants to go, and these folks are paying the price tonight, and I feel so badly for them. We also have tremendous number of power outages in our area.
And you can see we've seen power flickering
on and off.
On and off.
Yep.
Duke
Energy statewide, more than 300,000 at this point. TECO, about 95,000 right now. But those numbers are going to go up as this storm makes landfall to our north. It may not be as highly populated of an area as the Tampa Bay area, but there's still a lot of homes up there. And then it's going to move to the north. It's going to go into Georgia. It's going to go to Tennessee, Bobby, right?
Yep. Tennessee, the North Carolina mountains, 15 inches, and 10 to 15 inches of rain.
Even Ohio. It's going to hit Ohio.
It's raining in Ohio right now.
Yeah.
In South Ohio from the northern part of the storm.
Well, a massive storm. So, and this is
Look
just
at how it's. Oh, you can see the wind picking up right there.
Yeah, and you can understand how people could get stuck in there. It's like I can't get out, and I think people are oftentimes well-intentioned in staying in their homes. It may not be the smartest decision, but it's hard to make a decision during these storms for some people. It's very difficult to leave something that feels comfortable and safe.
Well, and not even that. We don't know what the circumstances are, and I understand that. Like, one of those rescues that we saw during Idalia in Hernando County, they were trying to leave. The car wouldn't start.
Right.
And then by the time they got it going, they couldn't go forward. They couldn't go back. They got stuck. And looking at these, like almost 1 million people without power in our state. This is a different.
This is US 19 as well, and
Dunellen.
Okay, and Dunellen. Okay.
Still a lot of wind there.
Yeah, you can really see the wind kind of whipping up the traffic light there on your right, and it's why people shouldn't be out on the roads tonight. It's just it is just a changing landscape. I mean, earlier this afternoon when you compare, people were out along Bayshore Boulevard and just taking it all in, out on the beach, and just really kind of enjoying this amazing experience of Mother Nature, and then suddenly it takes this dramatic turn and becomes not just a fun situation, really a dangerous situation.
And Aaron Parsegian is up in Citrus County for us. I was messaging with him earlier and kind of said there's not a ton going on right here, but it's a waiting game. That water's going to come up. That water's going to come up quick. We've seen that happen. And here, that water pushed through, and you can see or maybe they're going to a different
headed back
location.
out.
Headed back out. I thought. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you wonder if they're, you just wonder how many people, are around there whose lives are impacted, business people and homeowners and everything else. I mean,
really?
It's just such a
heartbreaking.
And this water, you think of all the vehicles involved here and all the cars that are going to be totaled, and the people who are out that money, businesses that are out that money. It's just a rough time.
So one thing that happens on the backside of these storms when you get this kind of inundation is electrocutions.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's after the water has gone down. People trying to do the work in their house, they're trying to clear out that lower part of the drywall. You're just pulling things out, and I've seen it almost every single storm when you get this kind of stuff. Somebody gets like that. So we urge everybody, please be careful after the storm. Animals, snakes, all kinds of things come out of the ground when this is going on. They're going to be running around too. It affects them. So it's going to be a big cleanup. And